Hello everybody, and finally Cyril, we play host to Southampton, which will happen in front of a crowd of 10,000 people, which, augmented by our new directors appointed this season purely for their business skills, who just happen to be related to the owners, will probably give us a crowd of about 11,000. Kick-off is at 4 p.m, and for those of us not fortunate enough to have been successful in the ballot, or named Sullivan or Gold, or related to somebody of that name, the match will be screened by Sky on Sky 1. Note that's Sky 1 rather than Sky Sports 1. They're pressing other channels into service as they try and cover all of the final matches. Eyes Up Mother Brown will be running with whichever of their number were unable to get a ticket. They'll be mumbling incoherent nonsense, so you don't have to. And for the first and last time this season, I should point out that pretty much the whole of the London, Tilbury, Southend C2C network is being dug up or something. Don't blame me, take it up with the fat controller. If you're coming in from Essex, check before you leave, etc. So, Southampton then. It's a season probably best described as, well, indifferent really. Their last 10 games, they've won 3, drawn 1 and lost 6. Even the 3 wins were, well, a bit meh, coming as they did against the likes of Burnley, Palace and Fulham. Their last outing ended in a 2-0 defeat at home to Leeds, all of which has left them in 14th place with 43 points and 1 match to play. At the time of writing, and there are still lots of midweek matches to go at that point, they could finish pretty much anywhere between 12th and 17th. The season therefore probably can't come quickly enough for them. Daisy, the socially distanced, support-bubbling personal assistant with a beautiful smile, took time out from scanning the green list for her holidays, look out for her in Tristan da Cunha any day now, to have a look at the Saints' winter window signings. It wasn't a long process. They only brought in Japanese striker Takumi Minamino on loan from Liverpool. He started off well enough, netting in 2 of his first 3 games against Newcastle and Chelsea. However, since then, nothing. He did have a couple of weeks out injured at the end of February, but he was getting selected and subbed off on a regular basis. His lack of goals may have arisen from the fact that he's been playing more as a midfielder in his time at St Mary's. The cheating Scousers used him as a forward in the League Cup sides when they were bothered to pick him. Last time out, they started with Che Adams up front, supported by Nathan Tella. That didn't last particularly long, as top scorer Danny Ings replaced Adams at the interval, Adams having picked up a knock. Ings has netted 12 in 28 league appearances this term, a figure that represents over a quarter of their league total of 46 at the moment. Nobody else has gotten remotely close to that total, with the exception of James Ward-Prowse. It's funny, but I think of Ward-Prowse as one of Southampton's youngsters, so I was a little unnerved to note that he's now 26 and has over 300 first 11 appearances for them. I appear to have lost a few years of my life somewhere. He is of course very dangerous from set pieces, which will no doubt have contributed greatly to his total of 8 league goals in the league, where he's been ever present this season. A quick review of their injury list suggests that the aforementioned Adams has only a slim chance of making the squad at the weekend, so we're likely to see Ings start. They've got better news of Romeu, for whom there's a 50-50 chance of availability. However, Smallbone and Bertrand are ruled out. So let's move on for the final time to the wild and wacky world of association football. Well, Tottenham are the gift that keeps on giving, aren't they? Watching the highlights of their defeat to Villa, Reguilon's own goal was an absolute corker. He couldn't have done that had he actually been trying. Meanwhile, their fans elected to spend their first match back at the toilet bowl booing their players whilst brandishing embarrassing "Please Don't Go" banners at the likes of Kane, presumably in the vain hope that one of his teammates might read it to him. Still, they can at least cling to the fact that they were once part of the Big 5+1 for a bit. Though if the Premier League ever get round to issuing an appropriate sanction to those lot, they may yet live to regret a lifetime of boasting about how big they are. Elsewhere, we saw the home farewells of both Hodgson and Allardyce. One departed with dignity, the other didn't. I shan't insult your intelligence by outlining which was which.
I know he's a nice lad, but it was disgusting what he said, so I think he should have go back and watch the game and see how we really played.
Which brings us around to us. Well, we do sometimes enjoy making life difficult for ourselves, don't we? The penalty, by the way, was a red card all day long, unless you think Johnston's body check on Antonio wasn't deliberate. If you do believe that to be the case, you are Michael Oliver, who bottled the decision big time, deciding he couldn't possibly dismiss a keeper that early in a match. The title of, quote, best referee in the country, unquote, copyright PGMOL, continues to show exactly how bad things are, and it's broadly equal to the accolade least obnoxious person on TV called Piers Morgan. After that, we struggled to impose ourselves on the game, and Souček's flick gave Randolph no chance, though given the stand-in's vulnerability on crosses, the point may have been moot anyway. Getting a goal before the interval was key, and Souček was right place, right time. Being behind the ball made it impossible for him to be offside. Not that that minor detail stopped VAR from trying to prove the contrary. On the whole, we just about deserved the 3 points. Think about it, Cresswell's clever free kick deserved better. But someone else must pick up penalty duties. Souček maybe? Cresswell? Admirable though Rice's keenness to take the things may be in the first place. Post-match, Allardyce's rant at Antonio was par for the course, and he's not going to be missed in the Premier League when he goes. I was, however, rather disgusted with Sky's coverage of the game. Awaiting analysis of our match, a post-match interview or two seemed in order, I put my feet up, only for coverage to switch to Turf Moor. This was despite the same coverage already being broadcast to the hard-of-thinking Liverpool supporters on a different channel. It was as if Sky was saying, well, we bother to broadcast your match, but we just know you're waiting to hear what Klopp says. No. Unless Sky somehow decide to ask Klopp some proper questions, and why do your players dive so much would be a start, I have no interest in seeing Sky's employees telling him how wonderful he is. Frankly, the coverage was an insult to proper football supporters, and again in the unlikely event the Premier League actually do their job and issue meaningful sanctions against them, I look forward to seeing Sky squirming over what stance to take, given the corner that Gary Neville has painted them into. Not Carragher, mind, he merely followed where Neville led. Though to be fair, if anyone knows more than most about spitting in the faces of fans, it's Carragher. Back to the game, and it's a bit early to gauge at the time of writing whether Fabianski will be back. It appears that it's his knee is the problem, and my guess he'll be joining Arthur and Lanzini on the absent list. That being the case, I'd expect to see the starting 11 much as it was on Wednesday, though Bowen and Benrahma look pretty interchangeable in that respect. And so to the final prediction of the season then. My team talk, were they daft enough to allow me to do one, would simply say, don't give a monkeys about events elsewhere, just go out and win. OK, it's not exactly Scott Parker at West Brom territory, but it does the necessary. As we saw on Wednesday, even on an off day, quality should triumph over mediocrity, and I think that's going to be the case on Sunday, though I'm guessing another 9-0 defeat for Southampton is probably stretching it. So my final £2.50, which I was going to go to send to the club to see if they might spend some money on a ticketing website and system that works properly, will instead be going on a home win. Make it 3-1 to us then, Mr. Winston. Enjoy the game, enjoy the summer, and I'll see you all in Tristan da Cunha.
Yes. Big knees up Mother Brown, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm regularly on the general discussion page. There's always someone who's got some information, so I love it. Yeah. It's great. Yes, it's excitement surrounded by imminent disappointment. That's what it mostly is.
Get on the forum at kumb.com. Come on, you irons.